Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you've taken time out of your day to join us on the program. Moments away, we're going to talk about lawn care mistakes. But first, a word from our good friends at Honey Bee Healthy.
Since 2000, Honey Bee Healthy Inc. has helped beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives. Attracting pollinators to your garden this year is as simple as hanging a hummingbird feeder with a mixture of sugar, water, and Honey Bee Healthy Original. Don't be alarmed to see birds, bees, and butterflies dining together at the feeder. Pollinators coexist peacefully. Honey Bee Healthy Inc. is offering a 10% discount on an 8-ounce bottle of Honey Bee Healthy Original to this show's listeners. Enter code BEEGARDEN, that's BEE Garden at checkout. For more information, mixing instructions, and a purchase, visit honeybeehealthy.com. That was some jazzy music.
I always try to
it was like rocking and rolling.
I always try to bring it, girl.
Well, one thing that I shouldn't say we don't care about is our lawn, but it's not a high priority for us, but it might be a high priority for you.
It's an ecosystem. Yes. It's important. Doing things right in the yard can benefit the garden. Doing things wrong in the yard can hamper and hurt the garden.
So we're going to give some lawn care mistakes, and you can pick up or put back whatever you want.
Send us an email at Garden Talk Radio and tell us how silly we are about
gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Yeah. One of the big mistakes is cutting the grass too short.
Yeah. So what happens is when you cut the grass too short, it often will make the grass feel like it's being under attack, essentially.
Correct.
I shouldn't say under attack, but it's
stressed.
Stressed. Yeah, there we go. That's the word. And so when you cut it too short, you want to make sure that you don't do that. You're stressing out the plant. Just like any plant, you cut it too short. It's thinking, okay, survival mode, I need to do something, and it might die. It might, I don't know, whatever. It might be, oftentimes it could become vulnerable to pests and problems. So you want to make sure you keep it at, what is it, 3 inches? 3 inches
for typical residential Midwestern lawns, and that covers a lot of us of you are listening, about 3 inches high. Taller grass should be cut, kept to keep the weeds from going to seed, and about 3 inches. You may think that's very high because growing up on the farm, if we cut it low, that meant we didn't. The more lower we cut it, which really wasn't grass, it was just whatever grew in the yard. The longer it took before we had to cut it again.
Right.
Lawn was not a priority, but lawn may be a priority for you. And there is some who have and take much more pride and time manicuring their lawn than a vegetable garden.
Now, on the flip side of that, you can cut it longer. It might not look as appealing, and during the very, very heavy mosquito times of year, there's a chance you could breed more mosquitoes because they will hide and nest, especially if it's a wet summer and the water kind of pools in the grass. So keep that in mind too. With that being said, you want to make sure you're not mowing with dull blades, because again, if you are mowing with dull blades, you're stressing the plant out. And you don't want to do that. Being
less efficient as well, because you're not cutting the plant, you're gnawing the plant. Yeah. It's like trying to cut through your steak with a butter knife. It doesn't do very well, and you do a lot more tearing than you do cutting. So it's a small investment in order to get your blades sharpened, whether you do it safely or you take it somewhere. And if you do take it somewhere, look for your local independent lawn care. Not the big store or anything like that. Local independent. Give them some of your support, and it will not only help the grass grow better, it'll make it look better, and it will make the machine run more efficiently and effectively.
Absolutely. So another one is watering too much or too little, assuming you want to water your yard.
And we've all seen this.
Yeah.
That we drive down the road and there's more water in the street and on the sidewalk and the driveway than there's going in the grass.
Or it's raining and you go past a business and their sprinklers are going.
And there are some cities and municipalities where that is a big no-no. That is a fine. You do not do that. You might much rather lose your firstborn at the mall than you water the lawn at certain times of the day.
Right. Absolutely. So you just want to make sure that you are paying attention to your watering schedule.
Timers.
Now
they got the ones that are so sensitive that if it's forecasting for rain, it won't water. It knows if it's raining, it won't water. Now, obviously, there's a financial contribution investment to that. But if you are looking for a specific type, there's sub-irrigation methods. They're above ground. There's the ones. There's all kinds of water. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Or you'll go past a business and they're watering the sidewalk, 90% of the sidewalk and 10% of the grass. So, yeah. Using the wrong fertilizer along with applying too much fertilizer. So you might go to your local big box store and you're like, this is grass fertilizer. This is what I need. And the cashier doesn't care what you buy for your yard. So you want to make sure you buy the right fertilizer for what your grass type is, and or if you're having some sort of issue that you want to help take care of. And if you use too much fertilizer, this is not a situation where like a lot is good and more is better, because you're basically over fertilizing your grass. The soil is only going to absorb as much as it needs. The rest you're literally like just washing down the drain.
another one is, should you thatch or not thatch or dethatch? It is important because it helps prevent problems of compaction. Thatching it's what thatching is. It's removing the debris or the vegetation that has died that's at soil level, beneath or above the soil, but beneath the grass in which you can see grow. If you would take and go down and scrape it with your hand, you could possibly pick up a lot of grass clippings or things that have not broke down. Now, thatching can make a big difference because it prevents the fertilizer from getting to the soil. It creates a barrier where the fertilizer can't penetrate the soil, can't break down and feed the plant. So by thatching, they make rakes, manual, or they have machines in which you can thatch your yard, your lawn. It's up to you whether you do it or not, but there are some pros and some cons to thatching, as well as should you irrigating your lawn or not.
You mean aerating?
Aerating,
yeah.
yes.
So aerating is basically poking a bunch of holes in your yard.
Allowing oxygen, water, and fertilizer to get subsoil to the root system. It looks damaging when it is done because it kicks these plugs out and you just got a big mess in the lawn. But after a few days, those plugs will break down, or rain or watering, and they will find their way back into the ground. But you're getting oxygen, you're getting water, you're loosening some of that soil up in order to get the nutrients and moisture to the soil and loosen and reduce some of that compaction. Some people don't want anybody walking on their lawn, and some people, a good lawn walking is very good for your feet.
That's called grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah. And grounding is the practice of walking barefoot on the yard or lawn or soil, whatever. And it's good for
if you understand it, it helps decharge. Is that what the right word is?
Basically, yeah.
And it's not really a hokey pokey thing. There's science that has proven this decharging of your body to the earth thing.
You're like literally becoming one with the earth.
Ta-da.
Ta-da!
Ignoring weeds and pests could be a mistake.
It could be a mistake. And with that being said, I do want to say it's okay to leave the dandelions. It's okay to leave XYZ or dig them up versus spraying them. And that's just my opinion. But I feel like you can live in harmony with the ecosystem, which is your grass and the weeds, but also be mindful that maybe you want the weeds gone, but be mindful of what you're possibly spraying on them and spreading around. So ignoring the weeds, yes. So if you have like a lot of those like pricker weeds, I don't know what they're called.
Thistles,
there we go. I would remove those, especially if you do like to walk around barefoot on your grass. I would take one of those little weed remover tool things that look like, I don't know. Prongs, there we go. Use that to remove those, and then otherwise, if you have pests, maybe you are laying in your grass, enjoying your grass, and you notice that there's some sort of grass pest and you're not sure what that is, you want to look into that.
Fun fact about the dandelions. we hear stories and we see stories and we know that neighbor that is out there and digging up every dandelion within, every piece of their property to make sure they don't come back, or they're out there spraying with chemicals. Dandelion, the puffers, the little seeds, can travel, average, about 27 miles. And now there has also been documented cases where they have found that dandelions have flown in the atmosphere from the East Coast to Europe and landed. How, I don't know. Believe that for what you want. But if you're spending all your time chemically and removal of dandelions in your yard, and you're yelling at your neighbors, you need to get rid of your dandelions too. You got a lot of neighbors in a 27-mile radius in which you're going to have to talk to in order to keep all the dandelion seeds from flying in. It's a it's the same concept of, it's the third day of fall and 7 leaves have fell on the lawn, and there's this guy out there raking, and the tree is just laughing at him because he knows, just wait until he goes in the house, and then the tree's going to dump the rest of the leaves on the lawn.
Right. This is part of living in harmony with the ecosystem that is your lawn.
You're never going to fix the problem.
You're never going to fix the problem. So the best thing for you to do is, again, to take, if dandelions bother you that much, move to the desert. Take your little prong tool, remove them out, do your best, whatever. They're going to come back next year. And I mean, even like where we live in our municipality, they don't spray those dandelions.
The medium in the road, there is literally 10 to 15, maybe 20,000 dandelions right now, and they'll come in about a week and mow them down right before they get puffy and they come back year after year.
Yeah, but they might not mow them before they get puffy, because I've seen that too.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the first food for bees.
It is the first food for bees.
One of the first.
So, just because you don't have any dandelions in your yard, you're going to go shake your fist at City Hall and tell them to mow those dandelions down? I don't think so.
Well, Holly, now that the weather is starting to warm up and you want to protect your yard from those various beetles, weevils, borers, including Japanese beetles.
And what better way to prevent those pests from destroying your garden than by controlling them while they're larvae? Grub Gone is an easy-to-apply granular product that can spread on your turf to successfully control grub invaders. Developed by Phylum Bioproducts from a naturally occurring bacteria, Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT product that specifically targets only scarab pests, and it's safe to use around bees and other beneficial insects.
If you already have those beetles flying around your yard, Beetle Gone is an organic water dispersible powder that you can spray directly on your edible plants. To find out more at phyllumbioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.